lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Hello and welcome to Texas Motor Speedway for the 9th round of the 2016 iROC HPP Simulation Grand National Series live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman and alongside me in the booth is Tanner Sharp. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak and our camera sets are provided by Dougie Beard. Tanner, Texas Motor Speedway is what some fans like to call a cookie cutter circuit. However, every cookie cutter track has one or two things that still make it unique. So what makes this place stand out?
Texas Motor Speedway is known for its great speed. It is pretty much a sister track to the Atlanta Motor Speedway and Charlotte Motor Speedway. But what really carries is the speed around this joint. It is bad fast. A lot of guys call it a cookie cutter, but since the 2015 NASCAR build, you can't really go flat-footing that much anymore, depending upon on track conditions. If the track is hot, you ain't flat-footing this joint. But the corners that's really going to bite is exiting turn 2 and exiting turn 4, especially turn 2, because transitioning from 24 degrees of banking to a flat surface on the backstretch, man, it could shoot you right into the wall.
Absolutely, and let's give you an idea of just how tricky this circuit is with our GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. My name is Brian Yazek and I'll be taking you for a spin around the Texas Motor Speedway. Texas is an old, worn out mile-and-a-half speedway, sure to be a whole lot of fun for the drivers. But without further ado, here we go. For your hot lap, you're cutting the dog leg here just a little bit, bring it right down here by the grass and drive it almost straight out to that Texas sign on the wall. Rolling through the corners, these cars do not have a whole lot of off-throttle time just because of the lack of horsepower. So really, the most you're going to get out of it is about half throttle coming through here. Turns 3 and 4 is a little tricky because if you overdrive it, the car will want to snap around loose on you. So you roll through here, 80, 90, back onto the full throttle, swinging it right out here towards the wall, right about where those stars start to line up. Now as the tires burn off, you're going to see guys here in 1 and 2 probably run it a little higher and split this seam right here on the speedway, cutting right down below it. Turn 2, the banking falls off incredibly quickly, and it can provide a driver a whole lot of moments behind the steering wheel. Turns 3 and 4, not so much. You're going to see guys still hugging the white line, back onto the full throttle, coming out of the corners, and still cutting the dog leg. Texas is going to be a whole lot of fun, puts on a great show for the fans. The drivers love it. My name is Brian Yazek, and this is Texas Motor Speedway.
Checkered flag you see on the session for a 30-minute practice session that just took place. Robert Barney was the fastest driver around this joint and now they're about to start qualifying. Let's talk about the drivers who have been performing well in the season and take a look at our point standings here. You see Robert Barney is up there. He's only 2 points back of a points leader, but at the same time he sits third in the standings. You've got the tie there between Brody Hayes and Michael Kobach at the top of the standings. Now, this is a relatively short championship. We're already over halfway towards the 4-race HPP simulation Pursuit of the Pedals at the end of the season. Only the top 10 make it through and the win does not lock you in. However, every driver who has won this season looks to be in the top 10 in points. Brody Hayes, Michael Kobach, Robert Barney, Bryce Whitson, Brian Yazek, who you saw on screen. Will Worsler, Josh Jones, Alan Young, Gary Whitson, and Jonathan Holstein round out the points right now. Right now on screen, you see Michael Kunik. He did not turn a lap during practice, so we're going to have to see how quick he can go during qualifying.
Definitely, and since a win does not lock you in the chase, I'm going to be watching the guys tonight that are around that 10th place position. One of those drivers is Gary Whitson. I mean, he's only a few points ahead of being outside the top 10, so he's going to need a good day to get into the championship chase, as everybody likes to call it. But another driver I want to keep an eye on tonight that is pretty much locked himself into the chase is Michael Krobach. He's tied with the race leader, and so far he's 7th quickest on the qualifying board, and he was 12th fastest in practice. So I think he's got a top 10 car tonight.
Right now, the fastest car in qualifying is Will Worsler, but still early on in the session. However, he did run a lap 0.02 of a second quicker than any lap time that we saw in practice. And now, the way the field is set for these races, Tanner, is the top 20 are locked in on points, and then the next 20 have to pre-qualify their way in. However, we're only seeing about 35 cars here tonight. It's not exactly a full field. It's still a pretty impressive field. But I have a feeling that's just got to be due to how tricky this racetrack is. Maybe drivers don't want to get penalty points and be banned from the next race. The track temperature, 110 degrees, and narrow racing groove. You really do have to be on your toes to get around this place for 100 laps.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we were just talking about the track earlier, and some guys like to call this a cookie-cutter racetrack. In my opinion, with the track temperature at 111 degrees or 110 degrees, I don't think you're going to be flat-foot in this joint. Maybe you're going to come close to it, but you're going to have to lift entering the corners.
Now, we still have plenty of time left in qualifying. However, it looks like a lot of cars have finished their runs. We've had two drivers, Todd Kirkwood and Louis Robinette, announce that they won't turn a lap during qualifying. However, that doesn't explain why we haven't seen about 5 or 6 other cars out there turning laps. But if they don't go out on track, that will be great news for Will Worsler, because he currently is the provisional pole sitter.
Yeah, but the times are really close, though. So with that, the times are close in practice also. So what that's telling me is this is going to be a really competitive race. The times are close. Everybody's even, obviously, since it's a fixed setup. So I do expect great racing from all these drivers.
Well, we've got 1 minute left of qualifying, but I don't see any cars going out to start a run. So let's give the pole sitter the True Power Pole Award here to Will Worsler. He outqualified Brody Hayes by less than half of a tenth of a second. Gary Whitson there will start in 3rd position ahead of Brian Yazik. They're even closer, just 3 thousandths between them. Troy Haight and Robert Barney on row 3, then Ty Hester, Michael Krobach, Tim Knott and Nick Cohan round out the top 10.
Outside the top 10, you have Jeffrey Belt sitting in the 11th position. Bryce Whitson Jr. will qualify in the 12th position. Alan Young will qualify 13th. Jamie Moore will qualify in the 14th position tonight. Not too bad for him. Jonathan Holstein in the 15th position. Austin Missler starts 16th. 17th is Ted Emmenheiser. 18th position, Travis Brown. 19th position is Mark Myers. And rounding out the top 20 is Aaron Kleinhans.
Travis McQueistron starts in 21st. Lined up alongside him is Jeffrey Gilliam, Lee Staples and Ken Rodriguez. And you see, even though these drivers are in the second half of the field, they're less than half of a second back of a pole sitter. Behind Ken Rodriguez is Daniel Glove in 25th. They're followed by Michael Kunik. We saw him on the screen. Didn't turn a lap in practice. He'll have to start 26th today. Daniel Vining and Edward Bray round out the cars that turn laps. Qualifying is now over. Milt Matisse, Chris Drin, Steve Wetton, Jackie Pelmore, Louis Robinette, Norm Pelletier and Todd Kirkwood did not turn a lap during qualifying. That is 35 cars, and there's actually a couple big names there who didn't turn the lap during qualifying.
Yeah, and those big names, they're fast. I mean, so they're going to have their work cut out for them tonight to try to get up to the front. So maybe play some pit strategy to try to get on up there.
And you had a feeling earlier, Tanner, that these drivers are going to have to play a bit of pit strategy today due to the bumpiness and the roughness of this circuit.
Yeah, definitely. This track is going to eat up tires. I'm telling you. I mean, this is kind of like the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I mean, and especially with hot track conditions like this, it's going to eat up the tires. There was a race last night that I was watching, and they had about 38 laps on a tank of fuel. They were pitting 10 laps earlier just because of tires, and the tire difference, the fresh tires and new tires, was about a second and a half about that. So, and that's a lot on this racetrack. So these guys are going to have to think about taking about 4 tires every time they head down pit road.
What do you think we're going to see in the way of passing tonight? Will Worsler, as we mentioned, has a true power pole award. Do you think it's going to be hard for his competition to take it from him?
It could be. I mean, the lap times are telling me that this is going to be a close race. Everybody pretty much has an even car, and they're running pretty much the even lap times. So if Will Worsler has one advantage, and that advantage is clean air. So if he can get out front and have a good start to this race, get out front, he has that advantage of clean air to where the guys behind him are going to be racing side by side.
Yeah, and you see the field side by side right now. They're getting gridded up on the straight, and in fact the 2-minute gridding time is now over, so the Ford Mustang pace car leads them off. 1 pace lap around here, and then we will be racing the top 10 drivers in the points, all qualified in the top 15. The only exception is Josh Jones. It looks like he is not in the field today, sitting 7th in the points.
That's very unfortunate for Josh Jones not to be able to make it to this race. Hopefully everything is going well, and hopefully we see him on the track in the future.
Field making their way through turns 1 and 2. The track temperature still 111 degrees. These cars are going to be sliding around tonight. And you mentioned all that tyre wear going on yesterday, Tanner, but that was in a Cup Series race. In these B-Spec cars, do you think they're going to be able to run flat out for a couple laps due to the reduction in power?
Well, if they're going to run flat out, I think they're going to at least do it for the first 2 laps. After that, I think they're going to have to start lifting, because it depends on how you're going to drive the car. Are you going to drive it conservatively, or are you going to try to drive it hard and gain those positions early? Now, remember, if you drive it hard, you're wearing out those tires quicker.
Ford Mustang pace car about to peel off. All 35 cars in the session are on the racetrack, and Will Worsler leads them away. Green flag is in the air. We're racing here for 100 laps at Texas Motor Speedway.
Here we go, side by side for 3rd place, headed down to turn number 1. You got Gary Whitson, Brian Yazik side by side, headed down into turn number 1 and 2, and behind them is Troy Haight. He wants to try to look to follow in line. Will not make it happen, as there's a big gaggle of cars 3 wide on the backstretch, or close to it.
Yeah, they thought about it. Maybe later in the race, but not now. And a couple of big moments. Ty Hester still squirrely.
Save it. Oh no, he better. Oh boy.
Hopefully that doesn't bring out a caution. And it's not going to, because he's got it pointed the right way down pit road.
Yeah, he ain't going to get... Yeah, it's not going to bring out the caution, because it did not happen on the racing surface. He may have got sideways on the racing surface, but he did not get 90 degrees sideways on the surface. It wasn't enough to bring out a caution.
And he doesn't take tires. He rolls back out on the track base, 3/4 of a lap down. He's going to want a caution, and we can see that that could be a possibility given what happened there. The incident kind of triggered off in front of him. He had to check up for a couple other cars who were out of shape a little bit. Meanwhile, Brody Hayes is not letting Will Worsler get away with this lead.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I said, it's getting the lap times show that it's going to be tight racing. But back on that Ty Hester topic, I'm not seeing a lot of damage on that number 68. So right now he's just going to have to ride it out and hope for a caution early, get down pit road and get some 4 fresh tires and try to get up to the front as best as he can.
Yeah, the iRacing grass is quite forgiving. Brody Hayes drops back a little bit of a lead to this lap, so we go a bit further back in the field where we've got some side-by-side action going down the back straight right now. This is Jeffrey Belt on the high side, Bryce Whitson on the inside. Bryce Whitson sits 4th in the points. Jeffrey Belt is a driver we used to see him race up front, but right now he's only 15th in the points.
Yeah, definitely, and he needs a good finish. He needs a good finish every week to be. Since it's only top 10 locked in, and the wins don't get you in, you need to be conservative every week and be competitive. Because if you're not that, it's gonna be a tough road ahead, and you ain't gonna make the chase, and then you'll be just racing for honor pretty much.
Gary Whitson was challenging Brody Hayes for second, didn't really make anything happen though. I wonder if A, that could be because it's hard to pass, or B, maybe they don't want to burn their tyres off this early. And you notice I almost wonder if Will Warsler's leaving a little something in the bank here, Tanner, and just backing off maybe enough to keep the lead of this race, but not enough where he gets so far up in front that he's burning off all these tyres.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like a lot of these guys are trying to be a little conservative on these tires, just a little bit. It's really tough to say because it's usually a driver's preference on how hard you're going to drive the car and how much you're going to conserve them on them tires. So Brody Hayes sitting in second place. He's a little bit under attack, not really, but he might get side by side with Gary Whitson here. And Gary Whitson, he needs a good finish. I mean, I think he does because he's only a few points ahead from 10th place. So if anything bad happens to him tonight, that's going to be costly.
Absolutely, we have just finished a 7 out of 100 laps, and let's give another reason these drivers don't want to race too aggressively, is they have an incident point limit of 17 incidents and no free repairs. However, I have a feeling Texas isn't exactly the most innocent racetrack with regards to any kind of with regards to any kind of incident, especially there on the backstretch. Easy for me to say, with the walls, there is the occasional pile-up on this circuit.
Yeah, it is, and if the pile-up gets bigger, it's a roadblock, so, and it can get closed up in a hurry. So everybody has to try to just take it easy. It's a mile and a half. It must be, I don't know, I'm not really seeing anybody getting really loose out there, Sam, are you?
No, but I do see a pass going on for 9th position right now. I don't know if Tim Knott may have had to roll out of the gas coming off of turn 2 there, because Bryce Whitson really had to run on him down that back straight.
Yeah, definitely. It was a huge run coming off turn number 2, and he's going to take that position away from Tim Knott. Tim Knott's going to fall back a spot there, and just behind Tim Knott, you got Jeffrey Belt sitting in the 11th position.
Bryce Whitson has moved up 3 positions from the start, and I have a feeling he's probably one of the bigger movers out there. And there's a caution.
Caution is out here at Texas. Let's see if we can find the incident here. Aaron Kleinhans.
Looks like he's had to take a tow into his pit stall. And we'll find out. We saw a couple of cars skidding at the end of the incident here. Oh, he got a big piece of a wall.
Yeah.
And he went upside down.
Hello, yeah, definitely. That's very unfortunate because I was telling everybody earlier in the broadcast that when you're coming off of 24 degrees of banking onto the flat, that backstretch is completely flat. Depending on how your car's handling, it can shoot you straight towards the wall.
And talking about the no free repairs early in the broadcast and the speeds with which caused the big incidents of this track, Aaron Kleinhans has straight away retired from the race. That incident has put him out for the night.
Very unfortunate for Aaron Kleinhans right there. Sorry that happened to him. Too much damage, more than likely. And everybody's headed down pit road, Sam.
Well, Will Warsler's leading them in. We did 10 laps under green flag, and I have a feeling that with the tyre wear that you were talking about, Tanner, we'll probably see everyone take 4 tyres.
Yeah, let's take a look right here at the top 3 drivers here. This is what I'm curious is the top 3 drivers. The 6, the 37, the 13. They go, oh, Biazek may have overshot this pit stall. Right sides are going up on everybody from what I'm seeing here. Let's see if the left side's going up. Oh, no, Brody Hayes is going to take 2 tires. Gary Whitson's going to take 4. Brody Hayes is going to take, or no, Brody Hayes took 2 tires. Will Warsler, is going to take 4 tires. So definitely a 2-tire gamble on that number 37.
Troy Haight and Bryce Whitson also took 2 tires. A little bit surprised to see that from Troy Haight. Bryce Whitson, not really surprised at all. He seems to always like that 2-tire gamble. It remains to be seen if it will pay off today.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember he took 2 tires at Phoenix. That thing was all beaten up and on 2 tires, and I believe he won that race. I remember him running a Phoenix race like that. Not entirely sure what series it was, but I know he's pretty good on 2 tires.
And Gary Whitson won the 4-tyre race off of pit road. He got by Will Walsler, so Will will have to restart all the way in 5th position. Granted, that could actually help him because he'll be restarting on the inside line.
It could, and it's an interesting strategy. Let's just say we have a long green flag run, we have green flag pit stops. I believe those guys with 4 tires are going to have the advantage, but if we get an early caution, well, then benefits to the 2-tire guys.
So, 3 drivers took 2 tyres, the other 31, I'm assuming, all took 4 tyres throughout the rest of the field. The lights are off on the pace car, working through turns 1 and 2. We will restart at the completion of lap 13.
Just a little update early in the race. Ty Hester, who actually had a spin coming off turn number 4, no harm, no foul. But the only harm was that he lost all the position. He's currently in the 30th position. I believe he came down with 4 fresh tires. So hopefully he can get up back towards the front. I hope Ty has a good day. I know he's had a couple of incidents in the past few weeks, and he's looking at turning it around today.
Don't blame him for taking 4 tyres at all. Probably flat spotted his first 4 tyres in that little skid. He'll have to be very patient though. I'm sure he's faster than the cars in front of him right there, but he doesn't want to get caught up in an incident with them. Ford Mustang pace car, hard left turn, here he goes, it's lap 13. Brody Hayes has control of the field and already has a bit of a gap over the cars behind him. Gets on the loud pedal and now has a huge gap over the cars behind him.
Holy cow, caught everybody sleeping behind him. That is a huge gap. Clean air is going to be the advantage. This is what I was talking about earlier, Sam. Guys race side by side. Brody Hayes is going to love that.
I am watching Troy Haight because he's on 2 tyres right now and he's on the high groove. I think that's a bit undesirable. And Gary Whitson is in the worst position. He's stuck right back behind him. Lost a couple of positions as a result.
Easy, boys. Yeah, the 00 drifted up the racetrack just a little bit. Here we go. Oh, Michael Krobach. Oh, he was stuck in the middle for a split second. Good thing Netcode did not have any play factor into that. Wow. That is a treacherous place to pass on this racetrack, is through that front stretch there.
Yeah, a couple of street-wide scenario. That was Gary Whitson who almost ran into him. Ty Hester is in the wall in the apron out of turn 1. Don't see any damage. I have a feeling Travis Brown may have been involved. I was hearing that he was in the grass on the front straight.
Oh no, yeah, that's we're gonna have to go to replay here.
This is coming off of turn 4, and there's Travis Brown. That could have been 2 separate incidents, but we stay green.
I don't think he hit that. Yeah, let's see this from another angle here, Sam. I don't think he hit the wall. I really don't. The front stretch here. Yeah,
there we go. It was related, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was related. And I don't think he hits the wall right here. I think he makes a good save. Tremendous save from Ty Hester. I don't think he whacks that wall or anything like that. So hopefully he can... I don't know what to say about Ty Hester, man. He's just trying to get all that bad luck out of him.
I don't know what to say about Ty Hester, but I know what to say about Bryce Whitson. He is regretting not taking 4 tyres.
Oh yeah, definitely. Bryce Whitson is just dropping like a rock. He's stuck on that high side lane, and there's not really a lot of grip early in the race on the on the high side of the racetrack. Usually it's on the bottom because that's where everybody's running. So he's stuck up there, and the guy I'm really surprised that's hanging on the 2 tires is Brody Hayes.
But he has that clean air to his advantage. Troy Haight, meanwhile, underneath Bryce Whitson right now is also on 2 tires. So both these cars are off the pace a little bit, and that is causing a bottleneck for the cars on 4 tires behind them.
Yeah, definitely. They just fell out of the top 10. Bryce Whitson's now 11th, and Troy Haight's 12th, and still losing positions. And that's going to change at the line this time by. So they're dropping like rocks.
Meanwhile, a close moment for Will Walsler and Michael Krobach. They got very tight in turns 2 and 3. And what kicked that off is that Will Walsler had caught Brody Hayes, but the front end of his car pushed up in turns 1 and 2, and that allowed Krobach to run him right down and almost challenge for 2nd position. That didn't end up happening. Krobach had to roll out, and now he's being challenged for 3rd by Gary Whitson.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of laps that these guys are going to catch Brody Hayes. I think they're getting to his back bumper now, especially coming on an exit of corners, because it's now stacking up the guys behind him. So in Krobach, looks like he's going to look to the inside on the number 6 of Will Walsler.
Yeah, they've caught him. They just can't get by him right now. And this is what Brody Hayes needs to do. He needs to hold them off until they wear out their tires and they hit a plateau and stabilize.
Hello. Robot came down just a little bit on the number 15 of Brian Yazik. Almost got clipped. That was a close call.
I think we're going to see a few close calls here.
Oh yeah, Texas. I mean, it's fun racing. Ooh, a little bumper touch to the 37. Will Worsler doesn't get the 37. Brody Hayes out of shape whatsoever, but it's gonna stack him up just a little bit.
Meanwhile, this pack of 7 cars has really broke away from the rest of the field. It goes from Brody Hayes back to Robert Varney, and
Yeah.
Will Worsler is all over the back of Hayes, just can't get by, and Krobok challenges again.
Yeah, it's stacking everybody up, and it's producing some good racing. Worsler probably in the driver's seat's getting a little frustrated here. I think that's probably why he gave him a little tap, unless he was just faster. But yeah, man, I'm surprised they're not really getting around him on them 2 tires.
Yeah, well, it looks like the 4 tires have finally... The times have plateaued. The drivers on 4 tires are now running about the same speed as the drivers on 2 tires, and what makes me say that is Bryce Whitson and Troy Haight have stopped falling back through the field.
Yeah, they have. They pretty much have settled in, and last time by on the racetrack, passing the start-finish line, Brody Hayes actually had the fastest car than anybody on the racetrack. So I guess,
Yeah, Mark Myers. There were a couple of cars off of the racing line down the backstretch. Mark Myers was in the wall. Hasn't brought out a caution, but he's going to have to bring that machine into the pits.
yeah, that strung out everybody there. But yeah, you don't want to hit the wall here because I think the aerodynamics is going to mean a lot here. I mean, you're almost flat-footing this car. It does have horsepower reduction to the Cup cars. It doesn't have that horsepower like the Cup cars do. So yeah, that's very unfortunate right there. You just got to be careful of that wall on exit.
Michael Koenig was slow in front of him, so that's why Michael Koenig was off the racing line, because he was hit, so he must have done a heck of a job to save his car, and unfortunately Mark Myers is going to have to get some repairs.
Yeah, Michael Koenig, I'm looking at his car, every angle is possible, and I am not seeing any kind of heavy damage on that number 34 machine.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he wasn't hit. And Mark Myers has announced he's coming into the pits for repairs, and I think he might be there a little while.
And oh man, look it up front here, Sam. You got Brody Hayes. Brody Hayes actually pulled out just a little bit, but the guys on 4 fresh tires are all stacked up, running single file like it's Daytona or Talladega.
Well, I think Hayes has done what he needed to do here. Yes, the field was getting frustrated, thinking, hey, we're faster, let us by. But while they were all scrambling to get by Hayes, they were burning off their tyres, and now they're actually beginning to fall off a little bit.
It's frustrating as a driver when you can't get by a guy that's on 2 tires or no tires, you know. So, and then all of a sudden you can't catch the guy. So the way it's looking right now, from what I'm seeing on the racetrack, and you viewers at home, type in the text chat and see what you think. I think the tires are starting to even out now.
I think Gary Whitson may have just got a bit of the wall there on the back straight, and that just gave Robert Varney 5th and maybe even Nick Cohan 6th.
Whatever happened to Gary Whitson, it's going to cost him 2 positions, so that's very unfortunate. It doesn't look too bad, though, so he might have just kissed it.
Louis Robinette coming over the radio. I'm not sure why, but I can tell you what the cause is. He has damage on his machine. I think he's just letting the traffic go by him. I'm not entirely sure when he picked that damage up, but he has been in the wars at some point.
Austin Missler making a nice run through the field. He just entered the top 10 not too long ago, going underneath Alan Young in turn 3 and 4. Austin Missler started 16th. Alan Young started 13th, so these guys have made up some positions on the racetrack. It's a nice little pass there in 3 and 4.
Well, we were talking about how the drivers can probably run flat out for a lap or 2 around here, which of course means qualifying would have been mixed up because of how close it was. Some drivers perhaps a little bit faster than what their qualifying time represented, so they're moving up through the field. One driver falling back through the field right now, you see Michael Krobach.
Yeah, another one that the 2 drivers that have fallen back, like dropping like rocks for Troy Haight and Bryce Whitson. They're not falling like rocks anymore. They're pretty leveled out right now. Troy Hate's sitting in the 11th position. Bryce Whitson is sitting in the 13th position. So as of right now, they're pretty content. I think the tires have pretty much evened out at the moment. So good strategy call on Brody Hayes' part. But man, the other two guys that took the 2 tires just got freight trained.
So the lap times these drivers were qualifying with were in the mid-29s. Even the leader, Brody Hayes, the fastest car on track right now, just ran a 31.1. These drivers are 1.5 seconds off of a pace. As we approach a 1/3 race distance, if this is a two-stop race and we have a bit of a green flag feel to it, do you think we'll see anyone short pitting around lap 33?
I think so. I mean, I was watching a race here at Texas last night, and guys were short pitting it. Some guys, for example, James Krahula, one of the guys I watched, he pitted 10 laps earlier than the leaders, and he got the advantage over that. But the problem is, you got 10 lap older tires than your competition when they pit. So, and they'll end up catching you eventually. So it's always a gamble. But I don't like pitting that early personally. I want to pit early, but I want to pit at the right time. We got to battle for second place.
Yeah, and this battle for second place is now going on about 2 seconds by Brody Hayes.
Yeah, that was a little love tap. Number 21, Nick Cohen, gave the Brian Yazek there. I'm not sure if Brian even felt it, but yeah, that was a little tap. And right now, Will Worsler, I'm surprised. Oh, who got into the wall coming off turn 2 there? That's the number 16. That was Robert Barney. I kissed the wall just a little bit. Oh, they might go 3 wide here, Sam, in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, Will Worsler really out of the groove. And while 2 tires may have worked for Brody Hayes ahead of this, it hasn't worked for Bryce Whitson. He's came into the pits. He's the first of our 2 stoppers.
And folks, with all this battling going on, look at the lap times here. Brody Hayes is now just pulled out 2 seconds ahead from these guys. And these guys are getting awfully close. Robert Barney, Nick Cohen coming off turn 2. That is a dangerous place right there to be awfully close at.
They continue to log back. Oh, getting close once again.
We're trading paint now, boys. Like I always say, every time we come to Texas, get up on them horses and ride, boys.
Ty Hester's also been into the pits. Michael Krobach now into the pits.
Oh, yeah, so we must be getting to the fuel run here, Sam. It is a 60% fuel load, so... and usually when you're on the gas, the more you're on the gas, the more you're using up that fuel. So this might play a little advantage to gain a couple positions for Ty Hester. But right now, Ty Hester does not want a caution. He wants us to stay green. That way he can gain those positions.
Will Worsler comes in and almost gets run over by Gary Whitson. Gary Whitson was much faster on pit entry, was able to take a position from him.
Yeah, definitely. Good thing there was no speed penalties. Pit road speed is 50 miles an hour here, so... And it's tough to get on pit road here. When you're transitioning from about 170 miles an hour to 50, that's tough.
Yeah, Daniel Glover just came in, and the back end of his car stepped out. Brody Hayes now comes in from the lead. That hands it over to Brian Yazik, I believe. No, because Brian's coming in too.
Everybody's coming. Everybody's in pretty much.
I think Nick Cohan got into Robert Barney in pit entry.
Boy, any kind of mistakes, any kind of contact on pit road is very treacherous and very time costly there, because you don't want any kind of mistakes or anything happen on pit road. So, as of right now, Austin Missler, Troy Haight, Jeffrey Belt, and Alan Young, Chris Chin, Jonathan Holstein, Lee Staples are still on the racetrack there, Sam.
Yeah, and here they come in. Austin Missler leads them in.
Yeah, I believe that's going to hand over the lead to... Oh, no, Austin Missler might be... No, the 24 car is now the new leader. That is Alan Young.
One of the chase drivers has quietly worked his way into the top 10 in the points.
So, according to what I'm seeing right here, Alan Young, Chris Chen, Jonathan Holstein, and Lee Staples are the only cars that have not pitted.
Oh! Nick Cohan, hard crash, coming out turn 4, caution flag comes out, and that is a big blow for a driver who was running in that lead pack.
Oh, man. Wow. That's going to change up things.
He just came out of a pits on cold tyres for the first time. He just got loose. I think he was just overdrove turns 3 and 4.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, he might. We have to take a look from that replay again. But did he clip the apron? Is what I'm wondering.
Let's get an idea of what it was like on board here. This was a hard hit.
Because he just pitted, right? So he should be on fresh. Yeah, he's just pitting, so he's on fresh tires, and he's just coming up to speed. He had to have hit the apron, in my opinion, but well, as you can say, and when it comes to just snapped loose, got hard into the corner, clipped the apron just a little bit, and it just shot him right around and hit him hard into the outside wall. Just a little clip on that apron, just pretty much ruined his day.
Yeah, now we see the drivers who hadn't pit yet come into the pits. Now we're going to see a lot of drivers get the wave around here, but those drivers who get the wave around will not be able to pit to change tyres. However, if you win the DSD, the Derek Spears Design Lucky Dog, you get to get your lap back and you get to change tyres, and that is the award that Bryce Whitson has just won. He was running in 11th position.
Yeah, all of them got all the race leaders that pretty much were up front in the entire race pitted, and they were one lap down. So they're going to take a wave around, and they can't pit. But taking a wave around, that's going to put you at the tail end of the field. So that was huge. That caution played huge into Alan Young, Jonathan Holstein, Lee Staples, Brody Hayes, and them guys' favors.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try and call the names here. Daniel Glover in 30th position will get the wave around. We are going to have, I think, about 14 drivers take a wave around to get back on the lead lap here. But yes, as you mentioned, the drivers who benefit the most here are the drivers who are pit but were still on the lead lap, and that includes Brody Hayes and the drivers behind him. So Brody Hayes will be the leader when we go back to green.
Yeah, definitely. I think he pitted earlier and than these guys, but man, that's going to change up the field here, Sam. It's going to get interesting.
Being told that Nick Cohan had a similar incident last night in the Cup race here. Just came out of a pits and lost it in turn 4.
Yeah, that Cup race, everybody was hitting, or I shouldn't say everybody, but there were quite a few guys that were hitting that apron of the racetrack, and just a little touch, it gets the car all upset, and it washes up the hill, and sometimes it just snaps loose, and you try to turn that steering wheel to the right to try to save it, and all of a sudden, wham, you're into the outside wall.
So, currently we have the top 11 cars, well, actually the top 30 cars are technically on the lead lap, but 12th on back are on the tail end of a lead lap and are going to take a wave around the pace car here. They might have to add an extra lap of caution to get all settled out, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here before the restart on the GSRC. Well, you see very few cars behind the pace car right now. That's because the rest of the field is blasting on by down turns 1 and 2, catching up to the pack. Doesn't look like they'll add the lap of caution. It looks like we will go back to green this time around. They're coming to complete lap 42, not far away from the halfway point, and we're only 30 minutes into a race that would be timed at 80 minutes, so we should run all 100 laps. Brody Hayes about to lead the field back to green. He's got Michael Krobach and Robert Barney behind him.
Yeah, here we go. Looks like pace car is going to be headed in. Brody Hayes gets on the loud pedal as he's going to launch himself to the lead side by side for second place. is the number 16 of Robert Barney and Michael Krobach. Nope, not going to happen. Actually, Krobach had a better start than Robert Barney did, so technically caught Robert Barney sleeping.
Crash.
Oh, we have a crash. Caution is out.
Began with Jeffrey Gilliam was in the grass, but Travis Brown is the one who pays the biggest price. He goes spinning in the grass with damage. Jamie Moore also, I think, may have got a piece. He's venting his frustrations over the radio. This is what happened. These drivers were all still a bit disorganised coming back to the green flag. And you see there's a check up there ahead. The number 20 gets spun, and Travis Brown, and I think it was Ty Hester also going into the grass to avoid it.
Yeah, definitely, and that just ricocheted. There's guys that are still trying to catch up too. So, yeah, that's very unfortunate for them guys, and hopefully they can get down pit road and repair as much damage as they can and try to weigh this race out.
Yeah, and Jamie Moore saying that they should have added another lap of caution to get them all sorted out, and well, that could be debatable, but the fact of the matter was they didn't. And there you see a couple of drivers, their days got a little bit worse there.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, there were still some guys that are just trying to catch up, and the green flag came out while they were still at the speed. So that just ricocheted, and things like that. They just happen.
Trying to work out who gets the DSD lucky dog
he's
here.
coming around right now.
Jeffrey Belt, the number 67.
We'll get the
Now,
lucky dog.
Yeah, how did Jeffrey end up that far back? I think he was involved in some kind of incident earlier on, perhaps?
Probably, but he didn't get involved in any incident right now, because if he would, iRacing would have never gave him the lucky dog. So either way, the fact of the matter is he's a lap down, and now he's going to get back on the lead lap with that lucky dog.
Well, since we just had most of the field down pit road, the leaders stay out on track. A few drivers at the back of the pack come in, a few of them, of course, getting repairs after the latest incident. So, we'll take another quick break. We'll be back for the restart. We should be at about the halfway point. Hello and welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where we're working the third caution of a race here. One driver just got a wave around, that was Mark Myers. Remember, he had that spin off of turn 2 early in the race, got in the wall, didn't bring out a caution, so that cost him a lot of time. And in fact, even though he's taken that wave around, he is still 7 laps down. Brody Hayes about to lead the field back to green. They're going down the back straight.
Yeah, definitely. I'm watching Michael Krobach here. I did say earlier in the race that he's going to be the one to watch. He's up there in the second position. Let's see here, going through the field here. Oh, sixth position. Number 10, Chris Gent, started 30th, up to 6th. So great run for him today so far. I hope I don't put the commentator's curse on him. We wish you the best of luck there, Chris. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The pace car is now down pit road. Number 37, Brody Hayes, is going to get on a loud pedal. Right now he does. Catch the field sleeping just a little bit, especially Robert Barney, again, does not get up to speed. Michael Krobach's going to take advantage of that for the second position.
And several cars spinning through the infield on the restart, but no caution is thrown, and Ty Hester is one of them.
Oh, man, Ty, he's one of my guys that I like to root for during the race, and I always like cheering for Ty Hester. You know, he's a good guy on Facebook, you know, and just can't get over that bad luck. But, hey, you got to lose some to win some, I guess.
Yeah, you see a couple of cars. It was kind of a chain reaction. Who's the other machine there? I think it was a 6. Yeah, that's Will Worsler. Wow.
A dominant car, or actually I should say more of a top 5 car, Will Worsler. Wow, that's Oh, we got a lot of battle here up here to the front here, Sam. A lot of it. We got 82 going underneath the 10. That's Troy Hayden, Chris Ginn. A little further back, you got the 00 of Bryce Whitson and Yazik going at it.
Yeah, we could even have a battle for the lead here as they are about to complete the halfway point this time by. Krobach is all behind Hayes, and let's not forget that last time, and caution out.
Caution is out on the speedway here, trying to find the incident of the racetrack. It's Tim Knott.
Edward Bray as well.
Guys, just getting on the radio just a little bit here and see what happened coming off turn 4. Another treacherous place here at Texas. This front stretch right here, folks, that's a treacherous place too. Let's see here. Oh, that was a hard look into the outside wall. Tim Knott, maybe? Was that Tim Knott?
Oh, Edward Bray obviously got the worst piece of that, but yeah, we saw a red car run by and hit him, and that engine blew.
Oh man, can we look?
Is it Daniel Glover? No, he was just yielding the position to another car. There's not a whole lot of pit stops going on right now, so we are going to try and find this out.
Yeah, I'd see if we can ask from our director from a better camera angle of that incident there to really diagnose what happened on the racetrack.
It might be Ken Rodriguez. He's in the red car. He's in the pits in the number 25 machine right now.
Yeah, he took a hard look into the outside wall and just enough to smoke that car. Oh, there a lot of smoke.
The 25 car of Ken Rodriguez, because you see there were 2 cars. Yeah, it definitely was Ken. And that's why he's in the pits right now, also getting a lot of repairs to that machine. And what you saw, I think there were a couple of cars who hit the machine there as it was spinning through turns 1 and 2, but Ken unfortunately got the worst piece of it.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, as I believe the 04, Mike Myers is going to get the lucky dog?
Well, he got it last time. Well, he got the wave around last time. Meanwhile, a lot of lead lap cars just came into the pits. They were towards the tail end of the field, but Michael Krobach was one of them.
Mark Myers did pass the pace car, so I believe he got the lucky dog. Earlier, he did get a wave around, so whatever he did to get back on to be the first car lap down is going to give him the lucky dog right now.
Yeah, that would make sense, because the only 2 other cars we're seeing off the lead lap right now ahead of him are Edward Bray and Todd Kirkwood, who I believe were just involved in the incident.
Yeah, definitely.
So what happened to our pole sitter, Will Worsler? I'm guessing he's just got caught out by the timing of that caution flag that happened during the pit cycle. And then with all the chaos going on in the middle of the field, maybe he had a couple of bent fenders that led him to come into the pits for optional repairs, and he fell back towards the back of the field, and that's why we've seen him. I mean, It's the same thing with Ty Hester, Tanner. Once you get involved in one little minor incident, you drop to the back of a field and then you get involved in a bunch more because it's all happening in front of you.
Yeah, and when you get involved in an incident, everything's happening in front of you, and it's no fault of your own. It's just in my opinion, it's just a matter of bad luck racing. Things like that just happen when it comes to racing. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It just happens. As you, yeah, just looking at all these pit stops here that had occurred there, Sam. If I'm not mistaken, Krobach was the first car on pit road.
Yeah, and I saw pit road was very busy and Krobach was in it, so I figured we'd had a lot of leaders down the pits, but I don't think that was the case. I think he was really one of the only one of the top 10 drivers who really came in.
Yeah, according to my information right here, Michael Krobach was the first one off pit road. He's sitting in the 15th position right now. Krobach, Austin Missler, Brian Yazik, Norm Pelletier, Travis McQuiston, excuse me, Ted Emmenheiser, Jackie Pelmore, Michael Koenig, Ty Hester, Jeffrey Gilliam, Danny Glover, Will Worsler, and Milt Matisse they all pitted under this caution.
Yeah, so Brian Yazik, also a big name back there with Michael Krobach, and the interesting thing here is, Tanner, is I don't like this strategy. From what we've been seeing, there's been a lot of chaos in the middle of the field on every restart that we've been having. When you pit out of sequence like that and drop back in the field, it seems that the drivers who do that are getting caught up in it. Whereas Brody Hayes, by taking that two-tire strategy that put him in the top position for the race early on, that has put him in front of all the chaos that's been going on today.
Definitely has, and we've seen a lot of incidents in the middle and towards the back of the pack. And if you're on fresh tires, if you're a guy that just pitted under this caution, I mean, you're gonna have to have no choice but to be patient and understand what's around you, so you don't run over anybody or anything. Come to the greens here, Sam.
Brody Hayes once again has control of the field. That's Robert Barney to his outside. Not anymore. Brody Hayes is on the loud pedal early. Robert Barney drops back, but he stays ahead of Troy Hayes, who's done well to hold on to third there. And Chris Glynn, haven't really gave him a shout out. He's running in fourth. Alan Young rounds out the top 5, but not for very long. He's dropping back behind Jonathan Holstein.
Much better restart for Robert Barney in the number 16 car. He's getting on the loud pedal right now, trying to go for another position, just not quite there to that back bumper. He's about 2/10 off. Meanwhile, we do had a battle for about 5th position. That was Bryce Whitson, no, 6th position, excuse me, Bryce Whitson and Jonathan Holstein. A couple cars in the back, Lee Staples, Steve Whitten. They're all getting racy here, Sam.
Yeah, and let's also keep an eye on Krobach and Yazik. This is the first clean restart we've had in a little while, but they still have a lot of traffic ahead of them. Jeffrey Belt and Tim Knott right now, and Krobach could have gone 3 wide, but thought smarter of it.
Yeah, there was a big stack up there. He was hitting that back bumper. Right now, Krobach, if I was him, just be patient, see what line moves, and try to make the best of it here. Just be patient here, boys, because if you're not patient, calamity can start on the racetrack. As you can see, Yazik, I think he's going to start following Krobach. They are on the same set of tires compared to the other guys, so, and that's like a 10, maybe 15 lap difference on them tires, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you see a battle for 5th going on here too, and as a result, Chris Drin in 4th is sitting pretty there right now. Alan Young and Jonathan Holstein have been running side by side. Bryce Whitson trying to get up alongside Holstein. He's now there. That's a battle for 6th as they go on down the front straight.
Then we got a battle for the lead shaping up here, Sam.
Yeah, indeed we do. Robert Barney, I think this is the first time he's been in 2nd.
Oh, what a run off. He got a nice run off there, Sam. That was a huge run, and now he's going to try to take it.
Yeah, Barney hasn't learned yet that you can't pass Brody Hayes, as the rest of the field have been learning, but...
He just did now. And that brought up the number 82, Troy Hayes, with him.
What's the old Looney Tunes joke? If you don't know what gravity is, it doesn't affect you. If you don't know you can't pass Brody Hayes, that doesn't matter. You just do it anyway.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I think Jeffrey Belt just hit the wall coming out to turn 2, and that cost him a position to Yazik.
Yeah, you hit that wall. That could cost you quite a few positions, depending on how hard you're going to hit it. But you don't want to hit really hard because it's going to ricochet towards the inside of the racetrack.
Jonathan Holstein had been holding on strong in the top 5, but he's dropped back a few spots over the last lap. He's now losing the position to Stephen Wetton. Now Stephen was, there's a tight battle going on behind him. Stephen was one of those drivers who didn't qualify, nor did Chris Finn, as a matter of fact, who has really had to work her way up through the field today.
Yeah, definitely. He's made a way up. He's cracked the top 10, almost 3 wide. Michael Krobach, number 94 car. Who is that? I'm not showing him. That's Steve Wetton. Okay, Steve Wetton. Yeah, they were about to go 3 wide. Krobach thought the better of it, and Yazik has been following Krobach every which way possible. Oh, Krobach. Uh-oh. He got on the radio about something, but yeah, he lost momentum.
Yep. Took the words right out of my mouth, and he falls back as Yazik.
These guys ain't playing around. Krobach is just trying to take it easy here. He's doing everything he can to be patient, and as a driver myself on iRacing, I tip my hat to him for that, because I mean, there have been a couple times he could have really took it 3 wide.
Yeah, I think Stephen Wetton is a driver kind of bottlenecking them all right now, and Yazik just got by him, and meanwhile Krobach is stuck right in the middle of this pack now. Lee Staples and Jeffrey Bell.
Number 5, Lee Staples, he was just a tick sideways, but did not lose it. As like I said, everybody's being patient in this area here, so.
Yep. Coming around, lap 63 now. Lee Staples ahead of Jeffrey Bell, gets close to the wall. Here comes Krobach. He's getting tired now.
Yeah. I thought we were going to go 4 wide because everybody was just getting tired, but let's string them all a little bit. Wow, nice run for Krobach coming off turn number 4. Let's see if he's going to try to make a move. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, he's gone by Bell. Can he go by McQueestron? McQueestron trying to go under Staples.
Okay, here we go, right here. There goes McQueeston right there. Going underneath. Krobach, can he follow it up? Man, it just seems like Krobach, it looks like he has fresher tires, but he's not sticking to that bottom very good. And is that Ty Hester?
Yes, it is.
Making some noise now, Ty. All right.
Well, if you ever see Ty's car disappear, that means he's hit the incident limit for the race.
Well, he hasn't yet, so he's just trying to take good care of that thing. I'm not seeing any kind of heavy damage on that car. So with that all being said, and he's running close up to the top 10 with these boys. Oh, Krobach got a little loose coming out too.
Yeah, and Jonathan Holstein was a driver you saw out in no man's land upstairs. Meanwhile, I know we're watching the battle for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th here, but the significant thing about this battle is it seems to be the breakthrough point. You've got to get out to the front of this pack if you want to race,
battle for the lead.
With the leaders.
Sorry there, Sam, but there was a pass for the lead, and Brody Hayes just takes over Robert Barney. These guys have been playing a little back and forth. We got a battle for 3rd place, too. That's Troy Haight and Alan Young.
I wonder if Brody will let Barney burn off his tires.
It's interesting. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, it's all driver preference, but we're not sitting in the cockpits of these drivers. I mean, but even though these guys are doing an excellent job today, as that battle for 3rd is definitely heating up there, Sam. We got some multiple cars getting in it with it.
Absolutely, and the driver who will soon be joining them is Brian Yazik. I was talking about how big it was to break out of that pack. He is now up to 7th place.
Anybody remember when I just said Yazik was following Krobach? Well, Yazik is now coming up towards the 6th position, while Krobach is still headed back in traffic, has yet to crack the top 10. So, and they are on even tires, Krobach and Yazik. So, I'm not quite sure what is going on in the back of the pack there, but Yazik is up towards the front.
Yeah, well, let's not forget that these drivers further back in the field actually have a bit fresher tyres than these leaders, and that is really helping Yazik make some moves here. He's running down Gary Whitson and Alan Young are battling for 3rd in front of him.
Whitson's
Yazik
pitting.
might take both of them.
Bryce Whitson's pitting.
To make it to the end from here, why not? Stephen Wetton in behind him too.
He was one of those guys that did stay out earlier under that last caution, so he's now down pit road. Yeah, he was out for 35 laps.
Interesting strategy, but why not? It seemed to work earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And these guys that are on a little more fresher tires, they're making their presence known right now. So, and I believe Will Warsler's headed down pit road. Jonathan Holstein's headed down pit road. Tim Knott, Milt Matisse.
Let me rephrase that. It seemed to work earlier for the drivers who were still on the lead lap after they made their pit stop.
Pretty much, yes. Brian Yazik headed up to the third position there, Sam. He's kind of looking towards it.
Yeah, Michael Krobach will soon follow. He's lost a lot of time to Yazik by being stuck in that pack for longer, but he has broken out of that pack now, and soon I think we'll see him running down Troy Haight, Chris Drin, Alan Young, Gary Whitson and co.
I honestly think that they're going to be the guys that are pitting right now are the leaders, Brody Hayes, Robert Barney. I think those guys are going to be pitting soon. They are hitting that mark of the fuel window, and like I said earlier, I think it was Will Warsler. He was on 35 laps. Who stayed out under that last caution. So, yeah, we're getting into that window, Sam.
But I'll tell you, if Brody Hayes wants to pit, he's going to have to get on the radio and tell Robert Barney, because Robert Barney is all over his rear bumper still.
Yeah, definitely, and they're pretty competitive, these boys right here. Brody Hayes, who started second, and Robert Barney, he started in sixth, and they had close lap times in qualifying. So, and the times in qualifying practice were so close. It's like every car was even.
Michael Krobach comes in.
Oh, yeah. And he pitted under that last caution, too, so I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he could probably make it on one more pit stop from here. Oh.
Daniel Glover got sideways entering the pits and kind of just brushed the inside wall.
Yeah, that's a little time costly there. Hopefully he did not get a speeding penalty.
We'll see a replay, and there's a few drivers who have almost done this today. I think Glover's the first one who's actually done it.
He's got a little damage. Yeah, he hit it. He's got a little damage because of it. So that's that's going to definitely cost him some time on pit road, Sam.
McQueestron, Hester, Missler coming in.
And Norm Pelletier just got on the radio saying he's pitting this lap. So now we're starting to see some pit stops coming.
Gary Whitson on the chat. He's coming in from 4th place. Our only leader coming in this time around. It's lap 74.
Brody Hayes, Robert Barney continue to stay out. Brian Yazik continue to stay out. So this is interesting pit strategies here. I'm just wondering how the pit strategy is going to work out between these leaders like Brody Hayes, because usually when cars start pitting early, and you keep staying out, they're technically gaining time on you. So that's just something to keep an eye on for.
Here comes Robert Barney into the pits, and behind him, Brian Yazik in as well.
Yeah,
and behind them, Troy Haight.
Oh, yeah, everybody's starting to pit right now, try to get on the even set of tires. That's the big thing here at Texas, is it eats up the tires, and you probably want to be on the same even keel tires because everybody's running pretty much the same lap times all throughout the field, unless you have damage.
Yeah, well, talking about damage, Christian actually just got hit from Bryce Whitson, because Bryce Whitson is on newer tyres and ran right into the back of him, and they made contact there, into the wall.
Oh, no.
Christian.
Oh, no.
Oh, and he gets hit by Hester. Ty Hester just hit Christian as he was trying to get back around the right way on the circuit.
Holy cow, what happened?
Christian got ran into by Bryce Whitson coming out of turn 2. There's one car downstairs. Alan Young in the 24 is coming into the pits, and he gets hit by Will Warsler, the 6. That causes Jin to spin. He's parked right in the middle of the circuit. The caution's coming out. Pack of cars still flying out of turn 4, and Ty Hester just slams into him.
I'm just wondering if we could ask our director to see if we can get an onboard camera of Ty Hester. Here we go. Ty Hester, I want to see this because he had a car in front of him and he probably couldn't have seen what was going on. Let's see, he gets up close to the car right in front of him here. They are wrecking on the front. Wow, yeah, he could not see. I mean, from a cockpit view, oh my gosh. He could not. That's tough right there.
Travis McChristian also spun because of that. But yeah, Christian just had a bizarre lap. I mean, the whole incident was a bit bizarre. It was caused by them being 3 wide as the car was coming into the pits. But Bryce Whitson had ran into Christian coming out of turn 2. And now we see what happened to Travis here.
Yeah, Christian, I still got to tip my hat to him. He started 30th. He's been running up front in the top 10, and stuff like that happens. Oh, that's gotta be tough.
I think Michael Krobach is the winner of our DSD Lucky Dog. He is in 8th position, but we will have more cars back on the lead lap with the wave around. The 7 cars who were still on the lead lap because they had a pit were Alan Young, Robert Barney, Brian Yarzik, Brody Hayes, Bryce Whitson, and Will Worsler. And this is going to take some sorting out. So we're going to take a break. We'll get it sorted out. We'll come back. The second time we've seen this today, the parade of wave-arounds. The first time it happened, we ended up seeing a multi-car incident on the restart. Hopefully we don't see that again. About 7 drivers really benefited from either not pitting before the caution flew, or pitting and still coming back out on the lead lap. And they are Robert Barney, Brian Yarzik, Brody Hayes, Alan Young, Will Worsler, Bryce Whitson, and Michael Krobach in 7th got the lucky dog. All the cars behind them just got the wave around, and the pace car lights are still off as they come through, and there they go back on. They're not going to have a repeat of earlier here.
Yeah, they're going to try to get organized back up here, and that's probably going to be the best thing for a good restart. They're still disorganized. They're trying to find out their place in line as of right now. Number 42, Milt Matisse, is going to come down pit road. Oh, yeah, he is on the lead lap.
We got 3 interesting drivers up front here, Tanner. We've got Robert Barney, who has been the only driver all race to pass Brody Hayes. We've got Brian Yarzik restarting in 2nd place, who was on the charge under the last run. And we've got Brody Hayes, who has been leading most of the second half of this race.
Yeah, Brian Yazzie, he's a fast guy everywhere we go. So with all that being said, and I know he can win races, but Robert Barney and Brody Hayes are pretty much the only 2 guys that have been able to stay up in the top 5 positions.
This will be a 19-lap shootout if it stays green. And I think it's going to come down to how good a restart we get as to whether it stays green or not, because most of the cautions that we've seen this race have came on within a few laps of a restart, if they can get going, they typically get running quite well. In fact, we've only had 5 cautions this race, over this 80-lap race, so it's averaging 1 each 19 laps. Hey, we've got 19 laps to go. Let's see if they can make it to the end. For the first time today, Robert Barney has control of the field. The Ford Mustang pace car is off, and Robert Barney gets a great restart with 19 to go.
This is going to produce some side-by-side racing with that big jump from Robert Barney. Side-by-side for second place, Brody Hayes, Brian Yazik, and on back, everybody's side-by-side. Michael Krobach's going to fall in on bottom lane of the racetrack behind the 00 Bryce Whitson. He's going to get that position coming off turn number 2.
And the top 7 have broken away from the rest of the field, who are back on the lead lap but are still on old tyres. They're going to really need a caution, and they're trying to make it happen back there.
Oh, that's 2 seconds.
Yeah, meanwhile, side-by-side battle. And
caution is out. I think there's a wreck off turn 4 there.
And it's Edward Bray. Not the first time we've seen him involved in an incident, but I think it'll be the last time his car's got heavy damage. Great news for everyone who took a wave around.
Oh, it happened right in front of Edward Bray. The 17 got in that corner sideways, trying to save it, and just plowed right into the 66 of Edward Bray. 17, who was that? That is Becky Palmore.
Yeah, and I'd say that's not the first time we've seen Edward Bray involved in an incident, and that is true, but of course the problem is once you get involved in an incident, you get to the back of a pack, and that's the kind of stuff that happens in front of you.
Meanwhile, everybody's waiting for the pace car on the front stretch here. Look like everybody just stopped, but we got some takers.
Yeah, well, of course, the drivers 8th on back are probably... Actually, most of them aren't. That's surprising. I would think they all would have came in for new tyres, give them a little advantage over the leaders here.
Yeah, but we did see earlier with Brody Hayes, who did stay on 2 tires on a 15-lap old tires, and he was able to maintain the race lead, so... I don't know. It's a difficult decision right now. I'd say when you're coming down towards the end of a race like this, you don't want to go down pit road. But as I seen last night in the Cup race, the 4 tires was the way to go towards the end of the race. But yet again, we did have longer green flag runs.
Now, pit road looked deceivingly busy there. A lot of those drivers were drivers who have had issues early in the race. However, we still have a lot of cars on the lead lap. We had 21, we now have 22. Daniel Glover just won the DSD, the Derek Spears designed Lucky Dog, and is now back on the lead lap.
Good way to get back on the lead lap, going on pit road, take some 4 fresh tires.
I think he'd pick up some positions if he did that. Well, I'm guessing it's not the last caution we'll see, but let's see if pace car lights stay on or go off here.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see. I think we're not done seeing cautions yet. The way these guys have been racing towards the middle pack of the pack, but we'll see what happens.
And we will, so stick around, you'll get to see what happens too. Not a whole lot's going to happen over the next couple of laps, but when we go back to green, you will be here. Robert Barney once again is going to lead the field back to green. However, instead of being in third, Brody Hayes will now be restarting in second. Do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage there, Tanner?
And I hate when I'm in second place because you always got to try to pay attention to see when the leader goes. And a lot of times they just fool you and they just get a better jump and they catch you sleeping. So I think the catbird seat is Brian Yazik. He has the leader right in front of him, but I don't know. We'll see. I've seen crazier things happen on iRacing.
Yeah, talk about crazy things. Let's give a shout out to Will Warsler. We saw him involved in a little incident early in the race. He's back up there in 4th position now with just 14 laps left to go. The field coming through turns 3 and 4. Robert Barney will have control of the field once again for the restart. We'll be hoping that's similar to last time, Tanner.
Yeah, definitely. He wants that big jump so he can take advantage of that clean air. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The pace car is coming off turn 4. Pace cars in. Will Robbie Barney... Oh, he's going to get on the gas right now. That's not going to catch Brody Hayes sleeping very well, but Brian Yazik did not get a very good start. Yazik's right now in a battle with Will Warsler for 3rd place.
Oh, I really hope these guys keep green because I think Robert Barney and Brody Hayes is a battle we want to watch happen because they switched the lead a couple of times early in the green flag run. We've got a 14-lap run, maximum green flags that we could see here. Let's see how many times they switch positions.
Oh boy, here we go. Battle for the lead, and Yazik might follow one of these drivers. Which driver it is, I'm going to put my money on Brody Hayes on the bottom of the racetrack.
That does seem to be the desirable line. Robert Barney is trying to go down there. Yazik.
That was close. Whitson and Yazik, that was close.
And as a result, Whitson had to roll out, and Will Warsler looks to the inside of him. Whitson tries to go down and make contact.
It's not going to stick.
Warsler saves it.
Oh, no, he does not. No, he does not.
Hit Gary Whitson. It onto the grass. Jeffrey Belt is smoking too. It hard into the inside wall goes one machine. That was Tim Knott who hit the inside wall. He almost saved it. It was ambitious. I think it was too ambitious.
He got pinched down entering turn 3 there, and he had that position going there too, and he just got pinched down, and when you got pinched down, he caught that apron, tried his best to save it. It didn't work, and big calamity off 4.
Yeah, there's a separate incident going on in front of him there. I think that was Tim Knott that Jeffrey Belt hit in the infield there, and you saw Tim Knott in the black car skid off towards the inside wall. His engine was smoking too.
Well,
I just think Will could have backed out.
He could. Well, honestly, on a race fan standpoint, you watch that replay over and over again, and just my own preferences. I mean, it all could have been avoided, but I mean, yet again, we're 10 to go, or coming down to that 10 to go mark, and everybody's trying to race as hard as they can without trying to hit each other.
And that was Norm Pelletier, who just drove through the grass to avoid it all. He was one of several drivers who did that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking the grass to try to avoid an incident.
Another driver who blew his engine because of contact in that incident was Daniel Glover. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him, but he had a bit of smoke haloing around his engine on pit road there.
Oh boy, I think we're coming down to a crazy finish here, Sam, and let's remind everybody, iRacing does not have green-white checkers, does not implement it. So, if there's a caution with about 2-3 laps to go, that is the race.
And Robert Barney has dropped back to 3rd position while all that wrecking was going on.
Definitely. He actually, I guess iRacing uses scoring loops. I'm not 100% sure on all that, but he's now in the 3rd position. Pace car lights are still turned on. So that's Brian Yazik in 2nd place. Brody Hayes is the leader. So maybe Robert Barney can get a much better restart. Actually, he's had a good restart the last couple restarts, actually.
Yeah, but Brody Hayes was the leader for most of this race, and he was getting excellent restarts every single time.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to keep an eye on Brian Yazdick. He's been looking at these guys that have been running up front all race long, and he could play with these guys just a little bit. Maybe he'll create wild.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back for the restart. Apologies for the technical difficulties there. 8 laps left to go, and hopefully for these cars they don't run into technical difficulties in these final 8 laps. And as Tanner was mentioning, a caution with about 5 to go would end the race. So hopefully if there is a caution, it will happen in the next couple of laps, and I haven't ruled that out of a list of possibilities here.
Oh boy, Sam, are you ready to get ready for a exciting finish here at Texas? Because I think we're not done racing that crazy yet.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I have a feeling Brody Hayes has been the master of restarts tonight, and if he gets a good one here, he might pull out too far ahead of Yazdick and Barney for either of them to be able to catch him. We're about to find out. The Ford Mustang pace car makes a hard left turn. Hayes is on the gas pedal early, and once again he pulls out a huge lead over Yazdick and Barney even before they cross the line.
Yeah, definitely. And right now there's nobody side by side with Yazdick, so Yazdick is trying to go after the race leader here, and right behind him is passings going on. Bryce Whitson stuck in that high lane. He's going to lose a position to Brody Hayes. No, not Brody Hayes. Robert Barney, and now he's going to lose one from Krobach.
So positions changing in the top 5. Not changing in the lead right now though. Brody Hayes has it. But I'll tell you what, Yazdick is not letting him get away.
Oh no, he's got the sights on him. And good thing Hayes is not driving a target car, because right now he would be the target. So and technically he is a target either way. So right now Yazdick, he's just Whitson. It's Whitson. He hit the wall, got loose, and saved it. That was a tremendous save right there, but it's cost him a lot of time. Right behind him, Alan Young and Ted Emmenheiser, I think they made a little contact. So far, so good, though.
And Yazdick is not letting Hayes get away. 6 to go.
Yeah, when you go on that backstretch, you got that car right in front of you, and it's the race leader. It's target acquired.
Oh, another close moment for Steve Wetton and Travis Brown, just racing outside the top 10 there. But I'll tell you what, Brody Hayes has been impossible to pass unless your name's Robert Barney today. Yeah,
getting pressure right now. No side-by-side racing, but if they do get side-by-side for the lead, I bet Robert Barney's going to hold somebody up on that high side.
May have seen a moment for Alan Young. He dropped back from 6th to 9th. And
caution is out again.
That will end it. I think it's Jackie Pelmore. And I think that will end it.
Well, it is now officially 5 to go, and right now we're coming to 4 laps to go, so I think that will end it. If anything, the caution lights will come out on the last lap, but I don't think they do one-lap shootouts.
Yeah, Jackie Pelmore, I think, had a moment off of turn 4 because there was a bit of grass being kicked up.
Yeah, definitely. There was definitely grass being kicked up thanks to this new DX11 on iRacing, and he did get on the radio and apologize to everybody.
Racing in a little bit of pack here, he might not have to apologise. He may have got a bit of help. This looks like a lap before it happened, but we were having difficulties picking it up. So let's watch Jackie Pelmore's last lap. You're not missing any green flag racing, that's for sure. If it finishes under caution, which we believe it will, Brody Hayes will walk out a deserved winner. Alright, let's...
Yeah, Jackie Pelmore had some trouble earlier in the race down in turn number 3, and he's going to have some more trouble. Oh yeah, looks like he just got loose.
I almost wonder if he was trying to pull to the apron to, or at least pull to the low line and then clip the apron to let a faster car by because of the damage that he had sustained from earlier in the race. Meanwhile, Todd Kirkwood will get the last DSD lucky dog of a race. Get back on the lead lap in 17th place there, bragging rights saying he completed all 100 laps today.
Yeah, definitely, and I think you're right, Sam. I think that ended the race, so we'll just have to wait for official confirmation, and then we can say that Brody Hayes won the race.
Well, Brody Hayes was tied with the points lead with Michael Krobach. Coming into this event, obviously he was going to take it from Krobach, although Michael rallied back to a good 4th place finish here after some issues earlier on in the race. This is Brody Hayes' 3rd win of the season, more wins than any other driver this season, and Jarzik back there in 2nd and Robert Barney back there in 3rd. Have 0 in the wins column for 2016. Who's coming into the pits this late?
I am not sure, but either way, we just got official confirmation from our director that this race is over. So with that being said, until something crazy happens, like you're blew an engine under a pace lap, I've seen that happen before like crazy. Brody Hayes will win this race.
Yes, Jeffrey Belt coming into the pits. Don't really understand why. Maybe he wanted to give his pit crew some more practice.
Yeah, he's actually 6 laps down, but I'm not sure why, but no answer really.
Well, there's still 1.5 laps left of them to wander around, and even if a series did do 1-lap shootouts, the pace car lights are on, so even if they went off at the completion of this lap, they wouldn't race across the line. Unless, of course, the pace car went in at the very end of a race and your name's Michael Schumacher and you pick off a position in the final turn before the green. But it looks like Brody Hayes, as we mentioned, is going to pick up a 3rd win of the season. And, hey, let's give a shout out to Bryce Whitson, salvaging a top 5 finish after having that big moment in the last round.
Yeah, definitely a top 5 finish. And he actually dropped like a rock early in the race, if anybody remembered that. So great run for him. And another driver a couple drivers I want to give a shout out to. Ted Emmenheiser started 17th, is going to finish 6th. Norm Pelletier started 34th, going to finish 7th. And Jeffrey Gilliam started 22nd. He's going to finish 8th.
Alan Young and Daniel Vinen rounding out the top 10. I believe that's going to be Daniel Vinen's first top 10, at least that we've broadcasted. And not first top 10 ever, but first top 10 since he came back from being involved in a car incident. He wasn't too badly shaken up from what I heard, but his car definitely was. And our director wants me to point out that when Michael Schumacher did take that place in the final turn of the Monaco Grand Prix, that he eventually had that position taken back from him. But it doesn't look like we're going to see any passing behind the pace car here. It looks like Brody Hayes will lead the field over the checkered flag, over the finish line at the checkered flag here in just a few moments' time. Working their way through turns 3 and 4, I'm sure it's not the way Brody Hayes would have liked to have won this race, but I'm sure he will take it. Brian Jarzik and Robert Barney, oh, what could have been if it had gone green to the end. We could have seen a little fight between them. Maybe one of them could have got their first win of the season, but it's not going to happen. Brody Hayes wins today at Texas Motor Speedway.
Good win for Brody Hayes. Hung up front all night long. And had some good battles with Robert Barney. Good win for him.
Boy, I'm looking at all the cars in pit road. I'll tell you, it's pretty amazing the amount of cars we had finish on the lead lap, considering the amount of incidents we ended up having. but that created some great racing throughout the field. It gave a few surprise names a top 10 finish, and so hopefully they'll be able to take that with them into the future rounds. Who knows, maybe it would lock some of them in the top 20 in points and lock them into a chance to start at Bristol next week. We know that track always produces surprises, and if you are in the top 20 in points, perhaps it helped your chances of making the pursuit of a pedals chase at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And talk about the incidents on track today. There was a total of 8 cautions for 33 laps. So a lot of cautions today for a 1.5 mile racetrack. But I do expect all that beating and banging, bumping, train paint next week at Bristol.
And the fans and us will all be expecting that there. Brody Hayes continues to put on the display on the front straight for the fans and for us. But we're going to take a quick break and let Hayes drive over the victory lane. We'll talk to him and a couple of other top finishers along with a full race rundown when we return. Hello and welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where we just witnessed 100 laps of racing action here. Unfortunately, it had a few cautions in it as well, a couple of them quite controversial, but what wasn't controversial was Brody Hayes taking away the win. Even though it came under caution, he definitely led most of the second half of the event at the least, and was able to come home ahead of Brian Jarzik and Robert Barney, who are still looking for their first win of the season. Michael Krobach was tied with Brody Hayes for the points lead coming into this race. He's only going to fall a few back. Dwight Switson involved in a couple of late incidents, but comes home with a fifth place finish. Ted Emmenheiser, nice finish and sixth. In fact, you could say for all the drivers 6th through 10th that it was a nice finish. They came from the back half of the field pretty much. Norm Pelletier in 7th, Jeffrey Gilliam in 8th, Alan Young in 9th, started 13th, but still an improvement. But I'm going to give the M-Spec Hard Charge of a Race award here to Daniel Vine and bringing home a 10th place after starting 27th. True, he didn't pass the most cars, but I just think that that's a heck of a comeback to have, considering he had been involved in the car incident a couple of weeks ago, Tanner.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good finishing position for Daniel Vine to come out with a top 10 finish. Now, outside the top 10, you got Travis Brown finishing in the 11th position. 12th position, Stephen Witten and Milton Matisse finishes 13th. Troy Haight, who was running up front early in the race, who qualified 5th, will finish 14th. Our pole sitter, Will Worsler, will finish in the 15th position. Jonathan Holstein will finish 16th. Todd Kirkwood would finish 17th. And now these next upcoming drivers are laps down or more. And that is Lee Staples finishing 18th, Jackie Pelmore in 19th, and rounding out the top 20 is Jeffrey Belt.
Now you come into drivers who were involved in heavy incidents earlier on. Daniel Glover in 21st, Tim Knott 22nd, Gary Whitson was running up front early on. He finished 23rd. Austin Mislow, Chris Trim round out the top 25. Ty Hester just had bad luck all around him today. 26th, Michael Koenig, Travis McQueestron, Edward Bray and Ken Rodriguez round out the top 30. Let's just go ahead and finish off the field here. We got Mark Myers, Jamie Moore, Nick Cohan, Louis Robina and Aaron Kleinhans. Those were the drivers who didn't have a good race. Let's talk to the drivers who did have a good race. Beginning with our 3rd place finisher. You've caught up with him, Tanner, and that is Mr. Robert Barney.
Yeah, trying to catch up with Robert Barney here as we do catch up with Robert Barney. And Robert, qualified 6th, finished 3rd tonight. You ran the top 2 pretty much the entire night of the race. I should say the top 3, and you had some great battles with Brody Hayes. Take us a little rundown in the cockpit view of your race.
Well, certainly at the end there, I wanted to go green. My car came in and had great handling on the long run, and I would have definitely run him down and passed him. But the restarts, the first 5 laps or so, weren't good for me. But it was definitely fun racing up there with Brody.
Yes, definitely. And I have to ask you, too, about this. Were the tires a big concern in today's race? Because it seemed like when Brody Hayes stayed on them 2 tires, nobody could get around them. So I was just wondering, are the tires a big factor in today's race?
Yes. The 2 tires, a lot of people took 2 tires and they ended up having the self-spins or getting into somebody. For some reason, Brody was able to drive those 2 tires and actually be able to pull away from us. So he definitely drove the wheels off of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We were watching him, and everybody was trying to get around him, but just couldn't get around him. And then pretty much the tires evened out at the time, and he remained the race leader. Now, towards the end of the race there, before that last caution came out, did you think you had anything for Yazik or Hayes towards the end of that race?
Oh, absolutely. If those last couple of cautions didn't come out, I was going to be able to run them down. I was gaining like 2/10 a lap, just riding back there in 3rd or 4th, wherever it was, for a bit. But I definitely had the speed. I just needed that long run to run them down and pass them, because I definitely could have.
Before we let you go here, Robert, our upcoming track for this series is Bristol Motor Speedway. Are you a Bristol fan, and does that track fare you well?
I love Bristol. Love running that outside line. A lot of speed. There's a lot of passing because there's a couple grooves. So you can definitely look to see me up there in the front.
All right. Is there anything else on your mind before we let you go?
Well, Purple Dino Racing has decided to come under the same garage as Whitson Motorsports now, so driving a Chevy now instead of the Ford, and things have been on the up and up now.
Yes, definitely. With that being said, it's pretty much a teammate with the Whitson. You guys got a top 5 in this race, so thank you, Robert, for coming to talk with us, as congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Thanks, Tanner.
Back to you, Sam, and I believe you have caught up with Brian Yazik, I believe?
Yes, I have. Let's get Brian mic'd up here. Mr. Brian Yazik, we seem to commentate to you a lot, and we seem to talk to the end of the races talk at the end of the races with you a lot. you seem to be very good at this finishing up front thing. However, you just haven't quite sorted out this going to victory lane thing yet.
Well, unless I'm very well mistaken, and I know you'll get a kick out of that line there, Sammy. You know, it's hard. It's so hard to try to get a win in this series. You got to get the right things to kind of fall your way, and things just kind of worked out throughout the first part. Just kind of riding, really. We were just kind of setting back, let the track come to us, not try to burn up the tires in this HPP simulation.com Camaro. Really just kind of letting everything roll, and then that first caution came out and trapped us a lap down, had to go wave around, and it was some, I'm a little out of breath. Well, again, I'm not the most physical shape. I'm more of a Tony Stewart shape than anything else, so.
Yeah, a more serious question here though, Brian. Obviously, had that gone green to the end, you, Robert and Brody would have had a pretty good scrap there. However, it did seem like Brody Hayes was quite difficult to pass up front.
Yeah, Brody has a good way of, once he gets into the lead, he can really kind of control the pace. And we were kind of watching some of that earlier in the race, just kind of how he can position his car on the track and how he can kind of cut your nose off, or in a good way, and not maliciously, but just really do a good job of keeping his car out front and trying to keep everybody behind you. But it was kind of interesting there. Had that gone green, I think that, heck, we all could have ended up 3 wide, coming to the line. I think I was getting a good run through the middle of the corner, and I think that he was getting a good run off, but I was better in 3 and 4, so who knows how that would have ended out. We needed a couple more laps there, and needed a couple things to work out our way for us.
Yeah, now we keep waiting for you to get the first victory of the season. I think you're probably the highest placed driver, or one of the highest placed drivers in the points right now without a victory. But do you think Bristol next week is a place where it could happen?
I think so. I think Barney right in front of me there, he's got, I think he doesn't have a win either. So he and I are kind of leading the charge in that category. We're going to try to Matt Kenseth our way into the championship here and just kind of get there without trying to make a whole lot of noise. But I'll tell you what, Sam, it's frustrating finishing second all these times. I wish that it would have stayed green. I wish the last 2 cautions wouldn't have come out, because I think I had a little bit more speed at the end of the run. So, but hey, you know what? It'll happen. Bristol next week. Man, it's such a crapshoot. I like Bristol. I like the way it races, but there's so much that can go wrong and so fast. And, if a leader catches up with a lap car and they all wreck off into one, you have pretty much 0 time to react. So, really, I think that we've got to survive. Really got to take the approach to survive the first half at Bristol and then see what you got in the second half. But we can make it through the first half. I really think that we got a good shot at it. At least we'll be up here talking to you again, maybe try to get one more step up on the podium. But I'm really looking forward to the rest of the schedule of what these Grand National cars have, and even the trucks here in iROC and the HPP simulation Grand National series and the truck series. So we've got Bristol coming up, and that's that is what that's going to be. And then, we have another short track with Richmond in the truck. I finished 3rd, I think, back here in the Grand National car. So, one of these next 2 weeks, I think I got a good shot. I know we got Kansas coming up later on the season, not too terribly far away. And Iowa I got a big circle on Iowa on both of these ones. It's a great track for me. So we'll have to see just kind of how the rest of the season works out. But, once again, just want to thank HPP Simulation and Mark Hargett for everything he does for the series and puts his logos on my car. And we got a new sponsor with houseofjerky.com. So, we're giving them a pretty good show, finishing second. I hope he doesn't quite. I hope he doesn't expect to keep sort of keep that one going.
Well, thanks for putting on a great show today, Brian. We really hope we do see you in victory lane soon, because you've been up there all season. The same goes to Robert Barney, our 3rd place finisher there. Brian put on a heck of a show, working his way up through the field. Barney running up front all race long. Another driver, though, who was running up front all race long and has had a couple of trips to victory lane this season. He is caught up with Tanner Sharp, and that is Mr. Brody Hayes, our race winner.
Yes, indeed. Here at the Texas Motor Speedway, Brody Hayes better take out that cowboy hat and shoot the guns because you just scored the third win of the season for you. And Brody, you've been up front all race long and actually in the top 3. How did you manage to stay up front all race long?
It just came down to tire management. I knew he had a good car. You just had to keep the Goodyears under you to have him there on the long run. So that was a big key.
Yeah, definitely. And from the cockpit view of Brody Hayes, where you're one of the drivers. Actually, you are the driver that stayed out under that first caution, and everybody else behind you had 4 fresh tires. How in the world did you manage to stay ahead of those guys on fresh tires? On 2 fresh tires.
I actually came in and I took two right side tires, and I saw Bryce and somebody else took 2, and they fell back right away. They said they were too loose, but I tend to like a looser car, and it fit my driving style perfect. I was able to play with the throttle and kind of run how I wanted to run. So I mean, in the long run, it turned out I was able to pull out a nice lead and just get comfortable out there.
Yes, definitely, man. I was really surprised up here in the booth just on how well you were hanging up in front of those guys with fresh tires, because that was like 15-lap-old tires. So you shocked me. So, but our next racetrack is Bristol Motor Speedway. Is that a track that you intend to like or do well at?
It's a lot of fun to race at. It's very fast. You run off some quick lap times there. It's going to be a lot about survival, though, kind of like Martinsville is. So just going to try and stay up front and stay out of trouble, and hopefully we can get out of there with another W.
Yes, definitely. Well, Brian, we're going to let you go put on that cowboy hat and shoot the guns and get the trophy and let you enjoy this win.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Just give a shout out to Dizzy Motorsports. I know Nick had a rough night tonight, but he stayed in there and encouraged me on and brought home another W.
Alrighty, Sam, that was Brody Hayes who won the race tonight. Back up to you.
Yes, and that was our top 3 finishers there, and we'd like to thank them for coming to talk to us at the end of the race. And unfortunately, Tanner, we did see a few cautions at the end of the race there, but great racing throughout the field on the track that's usually quite difficult to pass on.
Yeah, definitely. Texas Motor Speedway is a difficult track to pass on, and it's really fast. It's one of my favorite mile-and-a-half tracks. Not my favorite, but it's one of the favorites. We're going next week to one of my favorite short tracks, Bristol. I like all the short tracks on the NASCAR circuit, but Bristol is a lot of fun to do, so I'm really looking forward to next week.
Yeah, and there were even a few races. There were even a few incidents tonight that provoked a little bit of discussion. I mentioned I wasn't too happy with Will Worsler's move on Bryce Whitson, and Tan and I were having a little bit of a discussion about that, so I apologise if I put too much of a blame on Will there. I'll probably have to go back and watch it, because there's a lot of factors coming into play, but ultimately it was just the closing laps. Heated action in the closing laps around here at Texas Motor Speedway. Stuff happens in a hurry. Stuff happens even quicker next week at Bristol Motor Speedway, so you're not going to want to miss that. We would like to thank the organisers and the competitors in the iROC HPP Simulation Grand National Series for coming here tonight and putting on a great show. We would also like to thank the makers of the various software and hardware that you see on your screen. Thanks to the team today, Tanner Sharp, Joe Peak, and our camera guru Dougie Beard. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. A special thanks also goes out to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide us with our music. You can buy Eric's on iTunes and Spotify, and Casey's at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. All of our upcoming races for our other series are on screen, so be sure to check those out. Mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.